yeah.
Welcome to the LEC postgame lobby. I'm Dracos, joined by Frosker and Perks and Caps. Well, welcome.
That was really fun.
I told you we were coming. That it was happening, and you guys were in the midst of discussion about
so I'm on
movie
camera
night.
right now.
Well, I'm on camera right now. There's a monitor you can
so
see.
I'm on. They can hear my voice right now.
They can hear your voice now.
See.
They can hear you.
Oh, okay. Well, hello guys. Hello PGL.
I don't mean to sound rude, but you've done this before. I don't feel like you should be surprised.
Well, before, I mean, I was playing different roles, so I've done it as a different role. Now I'm a rookie.
True.
So it's my first time doing it right now,
Rookie
actually.
AD carry? Do you think you should be eligible for Rookie of the Split because you roll swap?
Yeah, I should actually be eligible for Rookie of the Split.
All right,
I didn't. Actually, it would be cool if I won it twice. No, if I won the Rookie Award twice.
Is that
And then next season you swap roles again?
Yeah,
I think that's kind of like when we gave Daylor MVP. People weren't super happy about that at the time. Of course, you guys had a pretty dominant victory. It was a little shaky there for a few minutes. After that, the rest of it seemed pretty one-sided. Overall, I'd say, do you guys feel good after taking down Vitality?
I feel normal. I don't know how he feels.
I mean,
do you feel good?
It feels good to win.
At what point in the game did you guys just know that it was over? Was it like champion select? Was it at 7 minutes?
Probably champion select.
Champion select?
Yeah.
Which champion? The Karthus?
Well, honestly, everything went by the plan. Everything that we thought. Okay, not everything, because we didn't think we get a Kali, right?
I love how it's like as the ball.
Okay, but everything else kind of went by the plan. So it's, yeah, we expected what they were going to do, and we were fine with it.
And we were really happy with draft, and the game was also like kind of good from us from the beginning. Like when they invaded the blue buff, we started getting a lot of kills. And even earlier when like Perks died to Olaf, it was like all comfort zone.
Yeah, it's true.
Just TP back in, you'd already proc Klepto, you're like, it's fine, guys.
Honestly, I got so many Klepto stacks, I could not be happier.
It's the dream. Klepto Ezreal. Obnoxious mastery used by what, 2-3 champions? Well, regardless, you guys have taken down Vitality. Schalke's the only other top-of-the-table contender. You've already beaten them. Are you confident now in saying 100% you are the best team in the LEC?
I mean,
Don't all answer at once.
I think we're the best team. I think we've been since week 1, basically. And even like before week 1. I feel like we've been the best, right? But as we have said a lot of times, it's like not about how good we are right now. It's more about how good we are in playoffs and
He's
when
really cocky as well.
the important games begin. So it's not about how good we are right now, but it's about the future.
Yeah, I think I would not rate us the best. I think we are like top 3, maybe at best. And
Well, who's even near you then? Who's near you right now?
well, there is like Griffin and IG stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we are somewhere like top 3. Yeah.
I'm glad that you guys started talking about like international, because this feels such a perfect storm for that idea of G2 fantasy, a G2 that's smashing everyone. You guys don't ever look like you're ever challenged, and then to go to an international, let's say MSI, just theoretically, and then crash and burn because you've never been tested and you suddenly have to learn
I'm going to say
macro.
this is literally how the G2 vacation meme was made. Because you remember like the period when you, Sven, Mythy were on top of the world, the Expect Trick roster, where you guys were crushing everyone. And then you went to international, and it always bombed. Like, is that something that you personally are scared of?
No, because okay, so let's go back in time right now.
Yeah.
So
I'm ready.
for MSI 2016, we were actually not that good of a team. Spoiler, we didn't practice. Spoiler, and we had internal issues. Spoiler. So it was kind of obvious we were gonna be really bad. I don't think there was any choking or some. We were just really bad. Yeah. Europe was really horrible back then as well. We won mostly because Kriek and me were really smurfing, and everyone was tagging along really well. Like Kikis was playing really well, and we had Hybrid with his picks doing really well. So like we kind of like meshed well together. It was honestly really lucky. I think that split was really lucky. Then Worlds, I agree, really choke. Like, but there was also a lot of like problems, right, that we didn't know or experience back then, and was also my first year, so I didn't really know how to deal with any of the stress and pressure and playing like every day, basically 14 hours. And not, I remember at bootcamp I didn't eat, I didn't sleep well. I mean, I ate like once a day, you know, right? And it was like, and I would eat a lot of Korean snacks because I thought that was really cool, like seeing the snacks with different, like with Korean letters.
You mean
I
like
was
little
like,
chocolate
oh my-
ones?
Anything, doesn't like chips, anything. Like it was like, oh, it has Korean letters. It's so fucking
I mean,
nice.
I feel you. The first time you go to
And then I was just eating that a lot, and then we lost. Shocker, guys.
I don't want to make a one-to-one correlation there, though. I don't want you at home to think that Korean snacks are the reason why EU went down in international competition. But okay, so then tell me this, Perks, just to focus on you just a little bit longer. What's different this time? You said that in hindsight, G2 was a bad team. Would you be aware now if it was a similar situation? Because I assumed you guys felt like you were good when you were going to MSI back in 2016.
Well, I did not think we were that great. I thought that other teams were like great too, so I thought we could actually like win games instead of like going 2-8. But now it's different because there's this fear in the back of my mind and the back of everyone else's mind as well, of like, what if, like, what is our way to actually lose, you know? And it's basically like him getting too cocky, and yeah. And then me getting too cocky and Mickey getting too cocky and everyone's getting too cocky.
You're shaking your head, but there were at least one time that game where you were like on the verge of death and went down to like maybe 12 health with Ignite, and I do not believe for a second that was like perfectly calculated. You are definitely playing some high-risk League of Legends.
Me?
Not you, Mr. Caps here in the mid lane.
He is actually has a very good calculator. I have to speak for him. He has a good calculator. Like I can see it.
He's so good.
He is
He
actually
can go down
very
to 12
good
health and
at
he's like,
leaving with 1 HP. Very often, so I give him that.
I mean,
I think he's calculating everything.
It is true. Like my 1 health, like low health is my comfort zone. And obviously it's not the best comfort zone sometimes, especially if someone will pick health against us, but luckily we have that one, so.
So I actually have a question. So you guys brought up like Griffin and Invictus Gaming. We're now kind of like looking farther ahead. Caps, you already have experience facing IG. I mean, that was you didn't get a lot of game time, Perks, against some of those teams. Do you feel that this iteration of G2 versus the previous iteration of Fnatic, like, are you confident saying which one's better? That would give you guys a better run at a team like IG, because IG have remained completely unchanged.
Yeah, I mean, I basically think, kind of like Perks did about MSI, I felt like we were not a good team going into Worlds. We had a lot of problems. Our bootcamp was very, very bad, like going into Worlds. But basically, it felt like every other team was just even worse. And it felt like a lot of teams at Worlds were just very bad. And then it turned out that IG were not that bad, and they won the whole thing. But right now, obviously, we're still a new team, so we haven't realized all our issues yet. We have found some, but it definitely feels like we have a lot more well-rounded. Like, we can play a lot of different things, and we're not very predictable. And at the same time, we also don't have the same kind of problems.
Mm-hmm. So you feel like there's more versatility, that you have more weapons on
exactly.
G2 than Fnatic?
Exactly. Like, I mean, as I said, I don't know if we will beat IG because we never, like, I mean, we played together for like a month, right? Or 2 months, I guess now. But I definitely feel like we will have a much higher chance of winning when it comes to MSI, because we will have played together for a while, and regardless of meta, regardless of anything, we're gonna play our best. And if that's enough to take IG, then it's enough to take IG.
Well, and a big part of improving, it seems like how you spend, to a certain degree, your domestic season. And right now, you guys are untested. Perks, you talked about this kind of like feeling at the back of your head, like trying to figure out like what your actual weaknesses are, this like paranoia. Do you feel like you're aware of everything you need to be working on, or is not having someone challenge you in the LEC right now kind of stopping you from improving to that point where you can take down a team like IG, no questions asked?
Well, personally, I'm very aware of everything that could happen. I feel like I've been through, like, last year, I was really like, it was really hard to take that year for me, and like all the stuff that was happening, us not winning and being like, there was a lot of, like, we couldn't grow too much, so I had to really realize why we couldn't grow. And also what you said about someone not challenging us, blah blah. We had this as well with G2 2016 summer and 2017 spring as well, where everyone else was like just a lot worse than us. So we took it to like basically next level and practiced really hard in scrims, which I want us to do more, which we don't do as hard. But I have to say that we are getting better at that as well. For example, our scrim games this week have had less kills than our stage games. So that's an improvement in my book, and I would like write this down as a successful week, because this has been the first week that we can say that, actually, I think. So yeah, I think things are getting better. I think everyone is aware of everything that will happen, and we are just kind of pushing ourselves, like limit-wise, right? We are pushing our limits all the time, which is good, but we need to like become more disciplined, which we will.
I mean, the reality is that if you look at, the LCK and the LPL and scrims, they have a massive advantage because they can scrim each other. They don't have to wait into MSI or Worlds where they can start leveling up. So it feels like it's almost created this vortex where Griffin and IG, let's say they're scrimming each other, will just continue to go. Whereas because you guys are isolated in Europe, you can't scrim North America right now. You basically have, what, CIS, TCL, and then LEC scrim partners around you. Do you guys have any plans to boot camp as far ahead as possible? Because the idea is like MSI is such a shorter tournament. At least in Worlds, it's like a month long. So it feels like teams like you guys and Cloud9 can go out, let's say, earlier, get so much more experience, scrim those teams, and then level up very quickly. Whereas MSI, you have a much shorter window to try to reach that potential. Are you guys concerned about that?
I mean, we were talking a bit about if we just keep winning, that if around week 7 or 6 or something, to just like set in our academy team and just go Korea and some boot camp. But on the more serious note, I don't think it matters as much as it might seem like. Because while they can keep getting better and only scrimming each other, I doubt that they're only scrimming each other. I think they're still scrimming other teams. I don't think they will reach to like some kind of like next level League of Legends while everyone is like 10 steps behind. And I also think a big part of League of Legends is the meta. And I think once you go to like an international tournament, the meta is completely different. And it's all about finding out who has the best meta. So while, yeah, I mean, basically while like the level of your team matters a lot, when it comes down to it, you just have to kill the Nexus, and you see that done in a lot of different ways. So.
Yeah, I mean, just kill the Nexus. I agree.
Thanks, John Madden.
I'm curious, one kind of this meme that's circulating now, because EU fans are feeling pretty good, and we justifiably so. We obviously dominated the LCK at Worlds, but the G2 versus Griffin discussion, is it an all-time high? I'm curious if you guys have any opinions on this theoretical G2 versus Griffin matchup.
Well, I don't know, when Chovy is playing against Cups, his KD is going to be down by 3 times. And I saw Viper play Mages, like he's all right, but he hasn't even seen mine yet. So there is just
he hasn't actually spent any time in the mid lane.
There is just this stuff where like I don't even know how they can match us. Honestly.
I love how Caps is like trying to dig you out. He's just like, yeah.
Well, I guess like he's gonna kill Chovy 6 times in lane. And Caps is like, yeah, sure, okay.
Show confidence.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously.
Yeah.
Wow, that was a trust fall. You just took it. He's like, step up, show confidence. Captain's like, yeah, I'm gonna kill him 7 times.
What was it we were talking about right before the camera came to us? We were talking about watching emotional movies, being, developing this level, this bond in your team, watching these Oscar winners crying together as a team, taking the team bonds to the next level. Do you feel like that's the maximum synergy you're shooting for?
Yeah, me and Mickey yesterday watched the movie, so. We watched the movie, but we didn't quite get the Lantern synergy yet. Maybe we need to watch more of these movies, and then we're gonna like be one with the Lantern. And then, but yeah, I think those movies make us as a whole.
Is that the perfect macro play? Getting the Lantern?
Yeah, that's what we work on.
That's what it is. Yeah. That's how you beat Griffin.
Yeah, exactly.
Eventually, we'll get the Lantern clicks down. It'll all come together. But for now, after 7 games, G2 are undefeated at the top, ahead of Schalke, who are on a 5-game winning streak. And I'm curious, you guys are uncontested right now. Schalke do seem like they're getting better. You've beaten them once already. How are you feeling about that matchup for a second time?
I mean, Vitality were 5-0 win streak before today, right? So I think after we play against Schalke, which is like next week,
I think it's week 6, yeah. First day of week 6.
But I think after we play them, it's just going to be like another team that bites the dust. Yeah. Yeah, I think we're going to win.
You guys are just fearless. I got to be honest, it's kind of, it's like intoxicating to be around. You just kind of get into this like jovial mood when you're around you guys, because literally like we have teams come up here and they're so serious when they talk about their development, and rightfully so, right? They're fighting for very important things to be at the top of the LEC, but you guys are so casual about literally everything. Like we could have Schalke on here right now, and I know Upset would be talking about, like serious practice, everything they're doing to develop, and you're like, yeah, we're just out here, we're just taking people down left and right. It's good. It feels good.
Well, we are doing the stuff too. Like we are practicing hard, and we can be serious. Not many not often, but we can be sometimes, I guess. I think that's the point of this team. That we are. That's the way we play.
You guys actually remind me a lot of like the Rocks Tigers. You know, the Rocks Tigers, if you had like SKT, who were like this very serious like machine with like Faker and they were terrifying, you had the Rocks Tigers who like come out in their cute little uniforms and they're just like laughing all the time, just murdering everyone. That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting. I feel like we keep trying to paint G2 as like the supervillains and like this very terrifying team, and you guys are still very scary. But because you laugh as you're killing people versus like just stone cold killer.
It's endearing. You got the cute uniform with the blood streak down it. If you saw the video, explaining
very
it.
cute.
Very
we are
adorable.
actually quite dangerous, but we just like they're just like like there's this like you're like cute on the outside, but like inside you're like you're gonna like we're like. We are killers inside. You just can't see it on the outside right now,
I want that ringtone so badly. But inside,
Give it now. Save it forever. The next question I want to ask is about Fnatic. I feel like we always got to talk about them at least once. They found a second win. Perks is laughing. They're starting to look a little bit better. Today looked a little bit better. They started to look like more of a team and less like 5 players running around in circles. So I'm curious, from your guys' perspective, is Fnatic kind of going to be stuck towards the bottom of the table, or is this a team that you expect to make their way up into playoffs as the rest of the season plays out?
Well, do you want to go?
I mean, I think Caps, I feel like you are the person that people are going to want to hear from as the former Fnatic member.
Well, I mean, they play us tomorrow, right?
Yes,
So
yes,
that's
they do.
not going to help them much. But I definitely think like they can get maybe like a bit higher in the standing. They obviously have a lot of problems they showed, and the meta doesn't really fit them. Then again, Crit ADs might be back next patch, so maybe what I'm saying right now, and next week they're going to completely show up. But if the meta stays the same on new patch, I think I wouldn't expect too much change. Like I could maybe see them take over XL, and maybe take over Origin. It's just like barely make playoffs. But I think like the way it looks right now is how it will stay. Like that's basically how I think.
All right, so I mean, we're talking about scraping into playoffs. We're not talking about like suddenly turning everything around. But how much of that do you feel like is on the patch? Like, do you feel like patch is enough to like put them into like 4th, 5th place, or do you think that like even if the patch is in their favor, they're still only getting to that maybe that 6th place position?
I think for sure patch does a lot of difference. It's just like makes a lot of difference, right? Because Fnatic has very limited champs pools, I would say. So they're very patch dependent. I think a lot of their players struggle in certain patches and strive in other patches, right? And if this new patch will allow them to strive, then they are probably going to climb. And while saying that, they're still very down right now. Like they're 2-5, right?
Yep.
So even if they play like they're top 4 team, it's still going to climb very slowly,
Do you think this is the perfect patch for G2 to really thrive, or do you guys think that you have the same adaptability across patches? Like if it does go to crit ADCs, and let's say that G2 have to play a RNG style where it's all about perks, do you guys think you execute as well on that?
I mean, we did play like Ivan Karma one game, so I guess we kind of did play like buff. I mean, I guess I got buffed by a lot.
RNG, I guess.
but yeah, I mean, I think that's like the beauty of our lineup is that we can play like a lot of different ways. And I feel like we can be at the top no matter what meta it is, because we have I mean we just have a lot of really good strong players, and I know obviously Perk's an old mid laner, and Mickey used to be a mid laner as well at some point, and because of that we have like really good champion pools.
Yeah, I'm a very old mid laner.
so we have some really insane champ pools. We can play everything. Yeah, come at us, Riot. Like
Come at us, Riot. I mean, they already took a call. Yeah, man. Don't mess with the balance team. They're coming.
But we don't want to sound too cocky because we are trying to be humble.
Yes.
That's our like kind of like team motto. Like, don't get cocky, be humble.
Okay.
And
Nailed it.
Called yourself top 3 in the world. You said
sometimes it doesn't work. Like, it doesn't work. But
I mean, frankly,
Yeah.
I totally understand what you're saying, because there's always like this line about like you don't want to step over it, you don't want to get smacked by fans for like bad mouthing. But frankly, it's so refreshing to hear players actually have confidence, because ultimately, if the LEC and if Europe want to have a team that is going to be the best in the world and actually take home a championship, in my opinion, you have to have the confidence to back it up. And it's like, imagine how much more badass SKT would have been at their height if not only did Faker smack you, but as he did it, he was like, I'm going to beat you. I'm going to rip off your armor. come and beat you with it. Like, that would have been great.
That would be really cool. That would be really, really cool.
So I'm like,
Well, let's not flame
talk
the,
smack.
Let's not flame the I respect every opponent I've ever faced approach. Come on.
Unlock them, Dracos. I am all about this right now.
All right, we're going to go aim to unlock G2 and any player in the LEC as we move forward. Well, we've got more action coming up tomorrow as Schalke look to continue their winning streak against Origin to start off the day. And, of course, a lot of interesting matchups across the course of this day. We've already touched on G2 Fnatic briefly. Schalke, Origin, feels kind of like a gimme to Schalke at this point. Do you guys see? Is there something about Origin that we're missing right now? Is this a team that people should be more scared of than they are?
I think Schalke will take it. Yeah, I mean, I think Origin, in my opinion, plays a lot worse on stage compared to their usual, like, skill. I think, like, individual skill level, right? Like what I see online, like solo queues, screams, whatever. They are just making more mistakes, I feel like. And when I see their players, I think, like, I don't really see a threat. I don't really see, oh, yeah, someone's gonna carry a game. Whereas, like, you have this superstar bottom on Schalke lineup. And you have the resurrected Odoamne, Season 6 Odoamne on the top lane, and you have the new mid-jungles. I don't know, they're like, yeah, I would be scared of Schalke.
I like it. I like the resurrected Odoamne line. That one feels super on point. It has been a little while, but he is back from the dead. He's alive and well. The other matchup I want to highlight here is Splyce versus Misfits. Misfits are a team that kind of hit the ground running to a certain degree and now have been struggling more recently. Before we go to you guys, Frosk, I'm curious, after today, how you're feeling about this matchup. Splyce played a game of League of Legends today. That's about as much as I can say for it. It was super messy. Are you feeling strongly one way or the other right now?
I mean, stylistically, this should be a pretty easy cleanup, in my opinion, for Misfits, just because Splyce are constantly fumbling the early games, although Xerxes can be the difference maker there. But unfortunately, I also feel like Misfits were insulated a bit in their strength of schedule. Like, they're still a good team, but we actually haven't seen them take down any of the top-end teams to, like, solidify themselves in top 4. We just kind of gave it to them based off of the brand power in the roster.
Yeah, I mean, you look at that lineup and you assume that, like, ooh, great things are going to happen. We'll see if that continues to play out. What do you guys think? Splyce versus Misfits?
You can go.
You can go.
Okay, I mean, I honestly don't know. Like, I don't know. I mean, yeah, it makes sense that Misfits will win because of their early game, but we have been seeing some worrying trends for Misfits, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's going to be like another 60 minutes Splyce win.
You guys face them, what, week 6?
Yeah.
How would you?
No, we play next week.
Next week, yeah. Last game of the first round robin for you guys.
How would you guys smack down Misfits? Where, like, if pick one lane, where do you attack?
Oh, I mean, every lane, I guess.
We attack all lanes at the same time. That's the beauty of the league. Like, if jungle comes, you like choose a lane. You know, we are not. Yeah.
All right. Well, not every team is G2, so let's pretend you're Splyce, so we can get an actual answer here. Pretend you're Splyce. How would you choose to attack them? Would you look to match them in bot lane? Would you look to maybe go into the mid lane? Where are you looking at in terms of potential options?
Well, I would ban Draven away from Hans somehow. That's the first step. I think a lot of their wins come from Hans being snowballing, where I think actually all their wins come from Hans snowballing. But now that I think about it, like him playing Draven or Lucian, something aggressive. So yeah, don't give him that, and I think they have a very good chance of winning the game already.
That was a one-step plan.
Yeah, that's a one. Ban Draven. I like that.
Yeah, it had a caveat. And Lucian.
And Lucian.
Like, don't give them those two picks, and I think that Splyce is like actually. It's going to be a 50-50 game, I would say.
50-50? Caps, you feel the same way? If you ban the Lucian and the Draven, do you feel like it's a 50-50?
Yeah, I mean, as I said, like, Misfits have been showing a lot of struggles, right? Because they didn't get those champions where Hans could take over the game. So I wouldn't be surprised if the game just stalls out, and then we have seen Splyce win a lot of late games over this last 2 years.
I'd be excited. We haven't had an 80-minute game in a long time. Let's go for it. Let's do it. Let's double down. Longest match of the day we will ever have. All right, well, be sure to stick around for LCS Academy starting at 1 a.m. with Echo Fox versus 100 Thieves. Broadcasted right here at twitch.tv/RiotGames. After that, you can catch our rebroadcast of the LEC at the same channel. I can't read. My eyes are failing me. Let's
reading
go to
Rainbow.
Jib.
Come on.
Hi, Jib. How's it going? I can read this one better. Apologies, guys. I'm blind. That was all from us here tonight. Thank you. We're going to be back for more LEC 2019. See you then. Thank you to Caps. Thank you to Perks. Thank you to Frosco. We'll see you all tomorrow.
It's big. It's text on the screen.
I know. I can't.
but... Oh, sorry. They were gonna Ash maybe?
Here comes Abadagi. Somebody order the cleanup crew because Misfits are all over aisle 4. Nobody dies again. Oh, well, if it's a little bit of trouble, the change, the prompt, the election. The turnaround. And finally, somebody dies.
Look!
Kill me in.
Guess what's down here?
We can end.
And Splice will take down SK. Let's try that again.
It's a kill in League of Legends hold, move on.
Just going to jump in here, straight onto Silas. Got the route across the wall on that ward, and Patrick can just get the chase out. Profit pops out the Whirling Death, but only spells his own demise. 31 minutes in, they did it by the numbers, but it's definitely a thumbs-up game for Origin here. Steals away the Ultimate. Exile gets jumped on in the mid lane by Brox. That great Sonic Wave from him lands straight onto Exile. That's an easy enough kill. Good stuff from Fnatic.
We won the game. Don't die! Let's go!
Good job. I love the start with the Requiem, because immediately Caps just jumps in. That is a dead Lucian. Shizuke tries to get to the back line, but he can't even kill Yankos. He gets chunked out as well. Perks is on a killing spree. Mickey gets the kill onto Shizuke, and this is just clean stuff from G2. Perks jumping forward. Maybe Vitality can do something, because Shizuke gets onto Perks. Perks is unstoppable, though. He gets one. That's a second for Wonder. And Vitality is going to clean up in their own base. In our match of the week, show they are without Powerland at the moment in the LEC. No one can stop them. No one can stand up to the G2 army.